Yo, yo, yo. This is day 74 to 77. um, I was so ill. Okay, this is probably the illest I ever have been and maybe ever will be. Obviously, I don't know that, but I was so ill. It's definitely the illest I've ever been. I was sick like at least 40 times on Friday night. It was nasty work. There is no getting around what I went through on Friday. But yeah, it was crazy. One thing that I kind of did take away from it is I think we really do take health for granted. You know, you're not ill for like half a year, and you think, you know, everything's fine, and then like the one time you're seriously ill, oh my god, I wouldn't wish what I went through on anyone. Like my worst enemies. It was nasty. It was really bad. But yeah, got through it alive. Still recovering. I called in sick to work today, so still recovering, but definitely I'm like a lot better than I was for sure. So today I just post some more social media stuff. I'm glad what I learned today. I feel like what I've been doing recently with social media is just very much like make as much content as you can and post as much content rather than kind of making art. That's kind of what it is, right? Although social media is a way for me to create, you know, it is my way of creating a fan base, whatever. I need to view it as a way to value and champion my art, and that's what I'm doing more. So the editing that I'm doing is very more edited and a lot more true to the music that I'm making. I feel trying to be a lot more varied in the content I make as well. I've said this 1,000 times, but I would very much just kind of recycle content that I've been using for ages and kind of just chop it up. And there'd be no editing towards it, so it'd be like a 3-minute video and I would just chop up 30 seconds for the song and that was it. There was no cuts, there was no different angles, there was no nothing. And you know, you gotta think, if I find it boring to edit, could you imagine how people find it to watch it? And yeah, I did strike lucky with some of my posts. You know, one of my posts got like 600,000 views and it was just one of those chopped up videos. But that's kind of where it finishes in terms of, I mean, one of them was on 600,000, another one was on like 200,000. But that's kind of where it finishes. The rest are kind of lackluster, and I feel like that's because I'm not really making engaging content. I'm not really making art. I'm just kind of chopping up these clips, which is fun. But I don't know. So today I kind of took time to kind of analyze what I wanted to be perceived as, what I wanna develop myself as an artist and be recognized as, and yeah. And that's kind of what I'm gonna use my content to. So what I did today, there's a YouTuber called Jesse Cannon, which I mentioned before. He says something about Lane's analysis, and it's just kind of understanding where you, like, what you are as an artist, who you are as an artist. So LAMES it means law, aspirations, misperceptions, exploits, and strengths. It's just what you lean into, right? So strengths are like what your strengths are. Very easy. As an artist, what your strengths are as a person. So are you charismatic? Are you this? Are you that? What are your strengths of your music? Do you have Like, do you have good songwriting? You produce all the music yourself, stuff like that. That's what I've written. I've written, I kind of have like this personal songwriting style, and that I produce my music all myself. I write my music all myself, so that's a strength of mine. I say my voice is quite unique in a sense. There's just, there's stuff that you can just lean into, and that's what your content should kind of, again, lean into more. Exploits, I don't have any, but exploits is, I'm not sure if I have any. I might do some thinking. But exploits is kind of like, do you know anyone in the industry? But it can also be exploits about you as a musician that you can exploits is more, it's like, what do you, I don't know if this is, exploits is probably the right word for it, but he kind of means like, what makes you unique compared to other artists? What do you have that separates you from other artists, essentially? So exploits is the right term because he uses it as like it's an exploit in terms of the opportunities you can get, but it's also it's his term, so he knows more than me, but I assume that he means more like the other side of the exploit is your uniqueness as an artist. Like, what can you exploit? Like your uniqueness. Like, what can you use that makes you unique that others can't, kind of thing. Find interesting. Currently, I don't have any of them because I don't know anyone in the music industry, and I'm not sure what makes me, like, what I have. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's not uniqueness because it's not. Yeah, I just think it's more just like connections and opportunities that you have. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that. So, yeah, he did say something about, yeah, that's fine. Misperceptions, like how, like, are there any misperceptions about your music? For example, when I first started making music, a lot of people would call me Sam on social media. My name isn't Sam. That's a misperception. But it's also, say if your hit song's a ballad and you make rock music, that's a misperception. So, a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I've been kind of analysing that, and today I was kind of making content surrounding that. So for example, like I said, the songwriting style, I was filming me like kind of like writing lyrics and like writing in a journal, which kind of leans into the songwriting, the poetry kind of style that I make. So yeah, just trying to be more varied in my content because before it was so recycled and it was so crap. And social media is one thing I'm definitely aiming to improve this year, especially because the album will be out this year. So obviously I want the social media side to be good. And yeah, I bought another tripod today, which is one that, what's it called? It has like a how do I describe it? It's like a flexible neck, a gooseneck, I think it's called. So yeah, we had to do like different angles in my bedroom and stuff because the other one that I use is like a very static one. So yeah, I also bought a mirror that goes in the back of your phone, so you can actually record footage on the rear camera, which is obviously the better quality, and you can see what it looks like because it's a mirror, which I found really cool. So yeah, I bought that, and yeah, also looking into like style and how like the clothing I want to be wearing during filming, stuff like that. It's actually exciting stuff. Before, I would really not enjoy doing this. I'm looking forward to it a lot more, which is good. I think it's just the way I'm perceiving it, which is kind of, I'd say is a big kind of thing I've been learning this year about how to perceive and think about things, but because I would just see social media as a way to gain followers, gain this, gain that, but I see it more as a way to revolve my art. And I feel like I said this before, but I didn't really do it, and this time I feel like I did today. So yeah, and I think it also helps I don't really look at metrics as much anymore. I don't really, doesn't really interest me. Whereas before I would constantly be checking, and that would kind of get me down, and then it would make me kind of stop doing it because it'd get me down. And then yeah, now I'm just like, I think that's a really cool video edited. I'm gonna put it out there. People like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And that's it. So yeah, it's a lot more healthy. But yeah, man, it's been a rough week. Last week was a rough week for sure. But if there was any week for me to be ill, it would have been last week, which is good because last week was kind of my downtime week anyway, because I've just finished a song. I didn't really want to go straight into a new song. So if I was to be really ill, I'm glad that it was this week, because I will be starting a new song on Wednesday. And yeah. Sorry. But yeah, it's just kind of easing back into things. And yeah, that's all I can do really. Friday was hell, so being sick nearly 40 times was not something I had planned. Like, my whole body just like, sorry. My whole body just completely just like clearing itself out, which is not something I hadn't planned on a Friday night. But yeah, glad that it's all over, hopefully. But yeah, I was meant to go to Switzerland as well, like I said in the last video. Thankfully, I did not book the flights because that would have been such a waste of money. But yeah, all is well. All is well. Yeah, just gotta keep going. Yeah. Looking forward to a new song coming out in April. Looking forward to recording the new song on Wednesday. And yeah, just looking forward to recording content as well, which is something I would never say. I feel like this year I'm finally grasping how social media works and how people use it and stuff like that. I feel like it's taken me quite a while to do that, because throughout me making music, I wasn't really immersed in music, social media stuff. I kind of strayed away from it because I don't like social media. So naturally I strayed away from it. So I think I'm finding a good kind of now that I'm finding a good mindset to have around it, I think that would help me a lot. So moving forward, yeah, I think we'll be in a good position. And my social media is growing quite a bit as well. So yeah, it's cool. That's all I can say. Everything's good at the moment. Yeah, looking forward to recording the new song on Wednesday for sure. I think that's when my best work comes from, is when I actively look forward to making music again. And yeah, just gotta keep going. I guess we're a third of the way through the album. I say we're on track to releasing it in like September time, which is nice. But yeah, kind of in a dilemma to what to do with the album. I was saying this to my friend, in terms of, I feel like my songwriting is constantly improving and constantly evolving, and yet some of the songs that I am waiting to record are songs that I've written way ago. So it's whether, do I stop writing and just record the ones I've made, or do I keep writing, constantly keep writing? But it's like, when does that stop, right? Because if I'm constantly evolving and constantly improving, it's like, when do I stop? And I guess that's what every artist has to go through, because every artist is probably in the same kind of category, because every single year you evolve as an artist. So it's like, when do you kind of hit the line? But yeah, I'm sure we'll be alright. Yeah, it's good to be back. I mean, I'm not 100%, as you can tell. I'm still coughing like crazy, but it's good to be able to get out of bed, because Friday was hell. But yeah, all is well, and grateful to be on the mend for sure. Yeah, sorry for coughing this whole video. I feel bad. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.